my name is Courtney Seiberling. I am the author of Yogas, Yamas, and Niyamas, 10 Principles for Peace and Purpose. And what follows is a physical practice of one of these principles. So if you like what you experienced or are interested in learning more about these principles and yoga philosophy, you can buy my book on Amazon. Namaste. Hello. Today we're going to do an Aparigraha practice, which translates as letting go. So this can be really hard for a lot of us to release, to let go of things from the past, to not kind of grip on to things from the future or anticipate. And this one really has a lot to do physically with focusing on the exhale, with releasing tension in the body. So I hope you feel better after this. So let's start in a comfortable cross-legged seat. You're going to want 2 blocks, a strap if you have one. If you don't have a strap, I'd recommend getting, like a towel or a belt or something like that. Something to sit on, so a blanket. And then if you have a bolster, grab a bolster. If not, you can use kind of a firm pillow, and you'll want that for later in the practice. So let's start by coming to whatever comfy seat you feel like. Palms down on your thighs, heart lifting to the sky, shoulders rolling down the back. And go ahead and close your eyes and just notice how you're breathing today. See where you're holding any tension in the body. And see if you can really start to soften and lengthen your exhales. So we're really good at inhaling, and we're usually not so good at exhaling. So become a really good student of your exhale. If you practice your Ujjayi breath, you can start that now. If you don't know what I'm talking about, just nice big inhales through the nose. And then go ahead and flutter your eyes open. Take a soft gaze at the floor, and we're just going to forward fold. So we're already starting to stretch out the hips a little bit. So if you have a block and you want to put it under your forehead, you can do that, giving your forehead something to rest on, or your forehead can rest on the mat. Fingertips active and spread wide, shoulders even here, rolling down the back. Breathing some space into whatever hip is getting a little bit or a big bit of stretch. Remembering to really lengthen those exhales. And then on your next inhale, walk it up. And we'll just switch the cross of our legs to the other direction. And then you'll do the same thing. You'll just walk yourself forward, placing your forehead down onto the floor or a block. Or you can just have the forehead resting in between the arms. But it's really nice to place the forehead down on something. So taking a few inhales and exhales into this hip, the left hip, or the right hip if you're stretching the right hip. And then walking it on up. And then we're going to come to child's pose. So taking anything off your mat if you're sitting on something. Knees come as wide as the mat. If you're an experienced yogi and you want to stretch a little bit deeper, you can have your knees a little bit wider than the mat. Big toes come together to touch, and then either forehead on the mat or forehead on a block. So really sinking down. Your hips are reaching towards your heels, heart is reaching towards the mat, and we're just going to do a little counted breath work here. So remembering to focus on that exhale. So go ahead and exhale any air in your lungs. And on your next inhale, deeply breathe into your heart center for 1, 2, 3. Hold the breath at the top for 1. And then exhale out the nose for 2, 3, 4. Hold the body empty of breath for 1. And then gently inhale for 1, 2, 3. Hold the breath at the top for 1. And then gently exhale out the nose for 2, 3, 4. Hold the body empty of breath. And then next inhale presses you up to hands and knees. Remove your block if you're using a block. And then we'll tuck the toes and send the hips up to the sky for our first downward facing dog of practice. So
really taking the weight out of the wrist. So pressing into the knuckles, the fleshy part below the thumbs. And then if you want to pedal the feet out here, or you can remain still, this is a great way to kind of see what's going on in your legs today, in the upper body, letting the head be really heavy here, maybe even shaking it out yes and no. Remembering to focus on those exhales. And then next inhale, let's send the right foot up to the sky. We're going to bend the right knee into the nose and then step the right foot where the right hand is. We're going to come down onto the left knee. So if you have a sensitive knee, you can pad the knee with the pillow or with the blanket. Hands come inside the right foot, and we're coming in for what's called lizard pose. So lift your heart here and then bow your chin into your chest, breathing some space into the upper left hip. The right knee is stacked over the right heel. Couple more really big inhales, really long exhales. And then on your next inhale, we're going to come in for half split. So you might want to use your blocks. So half split is not as scary as it sounds. So we're going to want to extend the right foot long. You can have the blocks underneath your hands if you need some support, or you can just have your hands on the mat. Little flex into the right foot, the right hip is coming back, and then you're going to fold your heart towards your right thigh. Coming into a forward fold, a hamstring stretch. Couple more nice big inhales and exhales into the back space of the leg. Softening the jaw, releasing any tension on the exhales. And then next inhale, come forward. And then we're going to come in back for our downward facing dog. So tucking the left toe, sending the right foot back to meet the left. Maybe noticing the difference between the sides. And then you'll inhale to lift your left foot up to the sky, hugging the left knee in towards your nose. Step your left foot where your left hand is. The right knee comes down onto the mat, or you can have it on a blanket. The top of the foot comes untucked. And then hands come inside that left foot, lifting the heart here and bowing your chin into your chest. Nice deep inhales and exhales here. Remembering to keep those exhales nice and long like the inhales. And then next inhale lifts you up, coming back for your half split on the left side. So you can be way up even if this is really a tight pose for you in your hamstrings, or if you're a more experienced yogi and you have the space in your body, you can start to slide out to a split variation. We're not quite warmed up for split. Hands on the blocks or on the floor, lifting the heart here and then bowing your chin into your chest. So little flex in the left foot to protect the left knee. Lengthening those exhales, releasing the back of the neck. And just notice what's going on in your mind. So if your mind's screaming at you, if you're becoming more tense, see if you can release, let it go. Let go of your expectations about what you think it should be. It is what it is. One more really big inhale. And then go ahead and slide your left foot back on your exhale, coming back through your downward facing dog. So heart reaching towards those thighs, pressing into the knuckles. And then looking in between your hands, go ahead and step your feet. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. And then inhale lifts you up to stand. Drawing your hands in towards heart center. Let's do one sun A. So inhale, lift the arms, lift the gaze. Exhale, big bend in the knees, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lift it up to the sky. And then exhale, drawing your hands into your heart. Let's keep moving. Inhale, lift it up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. This time we're going to step it back for our plank. So hands underneath the wrists, underneath the shoulders, pulling your heels to the back of the room, pulling the belly into the spine, pressing into your knuckles. If this is too much or you're just tired today, you can always put your knees down. One more really big inhale through the nose. And then exhale, the hips come to the sky for our second or third downward facing dog. So really pressing into the knuckles, shoulders rolling away from the ears. And then looking forward, we're going to come down to the knees. So coming in for our tabletop pose, so wrists stacked underneath the shoulders, knees stacked under the hips. So coming in for a couple cat-cows, inhale, the belly drops, heart shines. Exhale, pull everything up and in. Inhale, belly drops. Exhale, pulling everything up and in. Coming to a neutral spine, tucking the toes, send the hips back up to the sky for downward facing dog. We're going to play with a twist and a balance. So you're going to walk your hands back a couple inches, so you're in a really short downward facing dog. And then maybe give this a try. So taking the right hand across to the back of either the right thigh or the left thigh, the left shin, really pressing down into the knuckles of the left hand. If this is too much, you can come down to the knees. So this is a twist, a balance, and a forward fold. And then go ahead and replace the right hand where it was, coming to neutral. And then letting go of whatever happened on that side. So if that was frustrating or whatever the experience was, just maybe it was easy, but approaching this new side with a new opportunity, really grounding into your right hand. The right hand becomes light, and then take your left hand to your right calf, your right thigh, whatever you can reach. Really pressing into the knuckles on the right hand. One more big breath. And then exhale, releases that down. Let's come forward to our plank pose, holding the belly into the spine. And then place your knees down. Let's come into child's pose. So knees as wide as the mat, forehead reaching the mat, or maybe place a block underneath the forehead. Remembering your breath, remembering to lengthen those exhales. And then pressing it back through your downward facing dog. Let's inhale to lift the right foot up to the sky. Hug your right knee into your chest. Step the right foot where the right hand is. We're going to come in for a crescent twist. So maybe you place a block underneath your left hand, or you can have the left fingertips down. And then we're going to twist open to the right, lifting the right hand up to the sky, either looking up at the right hand or looking down at the left hand. Really find some lightness here. So lifting up out of the shape, one more big inhale. And then exhale, the right hand comes down, and then the right foot comes back to meet the left. We're going to do that on the other side. Inhale, lifting the left foot. Pull the left knee in towards your chest, stepping the left foot where the left hand is, and then option on this side if you want to use the block or have your hand down, opening towards the left. Left hand reaches tall to the sky. Couple breaths here, getting really long across your chest. And then the left hand comes down on your exhale, stepping it back for your downward facing dog. So if you're feeling tired, you can rest in child's pose, or we're going to do one more sun A. Looking in between your hands, step your feet. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, your heart falls to the mat. Inhale, sweep it up to the sky. And then draw your hands into heart center. Inhale, lift your arms, lift your gaze. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, sweep your arms up to the sky. And then drawing your hands to heart center. Let's take the feet a little bit wider than the hips. We're going to come into a forward fold. So coming into your forward fold, feet hips distance. If your fingertips don't quite reach the mat, you can grab opposite elbows, let your head dangle. Or option, if you're a more experienced yogi and you have more flexibility in your hamstrings, you can come into yogi toe lock. So your pointer finger, your index finger, and your middle finger come to the back of the toes, thumbs come on top of the toes, and then inhale to halfway lift. Exhale, elbows point out, head comes down, letting it go. Maybe letting anything that isn't serving you fall out of the top of your head. Nice deep breaths here. Inhale to release to a halfway lift. Exhale, hands come down, stepping it back to your downward facing dog. So coming into pigeon, inhale to lift your right foot up to the sky. And you're going to hug your right knee in towards your chest. Place the right knee where your right wrist is. Slide it back. Top of the foot comes down. If your hip does not come down to the mat, you're welcome to grab a blanket and put the blanket underneath your hip so that you have something to rest on. So you don't want to build tension, you want to release tension. Lift your heart here, and then you'll walk yourself out gently, kindly, into this very deep hip opener. And if the forehead doesn't reach the mat, you can also put a block underneath the forehead. We're going to hold this for about a minute. Really focusing on those exhales. Notice where your body is holding tension. So are you gripping in your jaw, in your shoulders, in your toes, your fingers? Can you let that go? Can you let your heart sink down to the mat? Can you ask something in that right hip to release? You don't need it anymore. Remembering those nice big inhales, those exceptionally long exhales. And let yourself offer to the ground even more. And then you'll place your hands back down underneath your shoulders, press down to lift up, and then you'll tuck your back toes, and you'll send your right foot back to meet your left. So we'll switch it to the other side. If you used your blanket, have your blanket to the other side on a diagonal. Inhale to lift the left foot up, and then hugging the left knee in towards your nose, place the left knee where the left wrist is, sliding yourself back. Lifting the heart here, and then exhale to forward fold. And again, if this is too much on the knee, you can come and do this pose on your back by creating a figure 4 and threading your hand through the triangle space. Whatever your body needs. Every day it's different. Every side is different every day. Just knowing your body, asking it to release. Getting rid of the past that doesn't serve you anymore, or the anticipation of the future that you don't know yet. Just being with the moment, approaching it with your full self. A couple more breaths here, releasing, restoring. What more can you let go of? Let it go, let it go, let it go. On your next inhale, walking your hands down underneath your shoulders, pressing and lifting your heart, tucking the back toes, and then we'll send the left foot back to meet the right, downward facing dog. And we'll take the knees down again, and we're gonna come to some more hip openers. So we'll set it up for Bakasana, cobbler's pose, soles of the feet together, knees fall out to the side. And we'll come in for an inner hip stretch. So take your feet as close into you as you can, lift your heart here, and then keeping your spine long, start to bow into yourself. When you feel your spine wanting to curve, bow your chin into your chest. Maybe using your elbows to gently press on those inner thighs. Nice big inhales into whatever's tight. And your exhales as maybe a way to release some of that tightness. On your next inhale, lift your heart. And then go ahead and grab your bolster. You're gonna place it, or if you have a pillow, that works too. You're gonna place it the long way on the top of the mat. You'll tuck your left hip in towards the pillow. Your feet will kind of flop back to the side. The hands come to frame the pillow, and then you're gonna walk out over the bolster. And then if you feel really good and open, you can place your right cheek down on the bolster. If not, you can put your left cheek down. Letting yourself be super heavy and held by the pillow. Letting it go. Nothing to do but breathe and be in this shape right now. Slide your hands down underneath your shoulders, press yourself up, and then we'll come in for the other side. So the right hip tucks in towards the pillow, and then again, make sure your shoulders are square, so right shoulder comes back, walking yourself out. If you feel really good and open, left cheek down. If not, right cheek down onto the pillow. Giving your weight over to gravity. Nice deep inhales and exhales here, releasing something. Take your hands and place them down under your shoulders. Press yourself up. You'll move the pillow to the side and grab your strap. And then we'll come to lay on the back. Just a couple finishing things here. Extend your left leg. Hug your right knee in towards center. And then place the strap underneath the ball of the right foot. Send that right foot up to the sky. And then we'll just take some gentle circles to the right. Maybe closing the eyes or taking a soft gaze at the ceiling. Taking your circles the other way. And then finding a few minutes of stillness, shoulders rolling down the back here. Keep that left leg engaged on the floor. And then hug that right knee in, release the strap. Release the foot and leg back to the floor. Hug your left knee in towards center. Extending the left leg tall to the sky. And we'll take our little circles this way, so whichever way you want to start. Remembering your inhales and exhales. And then switching the circles the other direction. And then coming to a neutral lift. Shoulders rolling away from the ears, right leg and foot flexed on the mat. And then on your next exhale, releasing the foot from the strap, placing the strap to the side. Let's hug everything into center. Bring your nose up towards your knees, little ball. And then release it out for your Shavasana final rest. Really letting yourself go here, letting yourself be open to new possibilities, and letting the heaviness really sink into the mat. Almost as though your past was melting out of you when your heart was opening to this moment. And you can let go of any breath work that you were doing, any controlled breathing. Letting your jaw be soft. So starting to deepen your inhales and your exhales. Finding a little wiggle in your fingers and your toes. Next inhale sends the arms up and overhead, toes point in the opposite direction. And then rolling over to your right side, making a little pillow for your inner arm, or for your head with your inner arm. And then pressing yourself up to your comfortable seat, placing your palms down on your thighs, closing the eyes here. Maybe experiencing some lightness in the body. And then drawing the hands to heart center, bowing your chin into your chest. And maybe taking this Aparigraha, this letting go off the mat, by maybe approaching your relationships this week without any expectations. So approaching people as though you've never had a history with them. I know that can be hard. But just showing up and seeing what's actually going on, what's actually there. Not getting stuck in what has been. The light in me acknowledges the light in your beautiful heart. Namaste.